Hi everyone, it's me, Julie O'Connell. I'm coming on here. I just want to talk to you about the 80s because I feel like the 80s was the best time in music. You had all sorts of genres of music. Nowadays, people don't know the music that is out there because rock and roll is not played on mainstream social media anymore on the channels. You literally have to go to a classic rock station to hear classic rock. And the rock of the 80s, yes, it was maybe overproduced and stuff, but at the same time, that was the best genre. We had people like Eddie Van Halen, CJ Snare, Ozzy. Sadly, we've lost those icons. And people don't realize that Eddie Van Halen, he never knew how to read sheet music. But yet his guitar playing was genius. CJ Snare, he was an icon in the fact that he knew how to write music. He was one of the top lyricists of the time. And Love of a Lifetime was one of the most requested songs at weddings. He just knew how to make music sound great. And Ozzy, one of my favorite songs is Iron Man. Yes, he's well known for all of his other music, but we literally are losing a lot of the icons from the 80s. When Aretha Franklin died, it was a bad day for soul music, and her song Respect is one of the top songs around. I support the bands that are still performing from the 80s because it takes a lot of courage to move with the sign of the times and to move into a new era. Europe has done that. They have defined their new era with attitude and grace, and they want to write the music that they want to write. Same with Def Leppard. They've done a really good job. There's a lot of bands that are still touring with the old 80s songs, and Nate, who has taken over Firehouse, has kept the traditions alive for people like CJ Snare. CJ Snare, he was an amazing vocalist and amazing songwriter. We are going to miss these icons of the 80s. For me, this was the best decade because you had all genres of music. You had pop, you had rap, you had hip-hop, you had all sorts of genres. You had rock and roll. In this day and age, all that is played on the radio is pop. And not everybody wants to listen to pop. So the industry needs to start changing and honoring the bands that are still touring and doing good work that are in the rock and roll industry. Joey Tempest has done a lot of good songs. The Last Look at Eden album for me is one of my favorites. Same with their Start from the Dark for Europe. Start from the Dark was when they came back in 2003 and they wanted to do something heavier. They wanted to do something similar to what Audioslave had done with their first album. And Joey Tempest researched the industry trends. I also really hope that Poison does come back together with the original lineup because people miss those bands that were really popular in the 80s, and now the industry is calling for it because we are losing so many icons. I really wish Europe, though, would tour the United States because there are people who are very frustrated. They were supposed to tour with Foreigner in Kansas in 2020, and the people that had tickets had to have their money refunded because of COVID. So we really want to see them here. Spain, England, Italy, they've seen them over and over again. It's time to do something different, Europe. It's time to come to the United States. the country that actually made you really big in the 80s. So, I just support the bands that are touring. Firehouse, Nate has said they've toured with Tesla. They got to open up for Bret Michaels. They have done some really good tours, and I'm glad they're keeping their memory alive. I want to talk to you about Jan. Jan was another amazing guitarist from the 80s that worked with Vixen. And sadly, she had passed away. So I support the people who love the music from the 80s. We had all sorts of like different female artists. Vixen was a powerhouse in the 80s during the time when it was a male-dominated industry for rock and roll. Vixen, I really appreciate them. I appreciate the Bangles. I appreciate some of the other band members that were powerhouse females, like Lita Ford. I just support the bands from the 80s because we are losing so many icons. Scorpions, they're still touring and they still do it great. There's a lot of new songs that have come out from the bands from the 80s. Just check out their new albums like Def Leppard. Kiss even has a new album out. So we just need to be mindful, that people don't always necessarily want to, watch or listen to Taylor Swift or Bad Bunny. I don't even know who Bad Bunny is. And he's going to be the halftime show. People are getting tired of these popular acts that are on pop music getting in for the Super Bowl. We want some rock and roll. We don't want just what is going on. Aerosmith, they don't tour anymore, but at the same time, they were another big powerhouse during the 80s. And yeah, they did mix it up when they did Walk This Way with Run DMC. It's just a way to get back to the youth. There is youth out there that is falling in love with the 80s and all over again. And they're the ones that are going to pass on the traditions of the 80s and make music great again. I know Key Marcello. He used to be the guitarist for Europe. He has done some amazing albums. His song, A Million Years, is awesome. It's like a follow-up to The Final Countdown. So we just got to be respectful of the music and what music people like. I don't, rap music is fine and well, and it has its place. So does grunge. Grunge had its moment too. That's what killed the rock and roll era of the 80s, grunge coming in. Guns N' Roses was another great band. I also like Sebastian Bach because he's open and honest with his struggles in life. Sebastian Bach, he's amazing. His vocals are amazing. I love the song I Remember You. That was a good song. So I just wanted you to know that I do support the bands of the 80s. And Europe by far is my favorite band. Yes, there are better vocalists and songwriters like CJ Snare. He could touch every little sensibility in a ballad. His song Don't Treat Me Bad was awesome. Love of a Lifetime, When I Look Into Your Eyes. He just had a bunch of awesome songs that people could connect with and people could enjoy. Love of a Lifetime, like I said, was one of the number one most requested songs at weddings. So, and Carrie for Europe, it sat on the top Billboard 100 chart for many, many weeks in the top 20. So I support bands who are performing their songs from the 80s, but also creating new music and creating a genre where it's safe to go out and tour. Offspring has come back. They're starting to tour again. Some of these bands that we thought were never going to tour again, that were broken up, they're coming back and touring. Same with Three Doors Down. So we just need to support them and buy their tickets and buy the music that we love. I don't support people who harass others in any Facebook group for the bands that they love, because it's not right. You shouldn't be harassing another human being in any Facebook group, because it goes against Facebook's #1 rule to create an inviting atmosphere so people could post the photos that they love. I absolutely support Striper. Striper is amazing, and my thoughts and prayers are with Ozzy Fox right now. As you know, he's no longer going to be touring with the band because he had some serious health issues. And he also survived a brain tumor. So we just got to be kind and caring. I had no idea that CJ Snare actually had colon cancer. My heart goes out to his family because he was an amazing icon. My heart goes out to Eddie Van Halen's family. It's really sad to see that we are losing a lot of our icons from the 80s, and my heart is just with these people that really touched so many lives. They really did, and popularized great music. So thank you and have a great day. Just support whoever you want to support, whatever channels you want to support. If you like my content, please like and subscribe, and please smash the like button. It helps to get it out to the algorithm. Thank you and have a great day.